Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that's basically a silent epidemic sweeping right through our modern lives. It impacts our health, our work, and honestly, just our overall happiness. And I gotta be upfront with you, when I first dug into this source material, I was genuinely shocked to realize I might actually be suffering from it myself. We're talking about sleep, or, well, more accurately, the lack of it. You know, it's so common to think we're getting by just fine, but our bodies have a very specific way of keeping score. So let's jump right in and uncover the 7 hidden signs of sleep deprivation. So I want you to ask yourself this right now. Are you secretly sleep deprived? You might immediately think, nah, I'm good. I usually get around 6 hours I push through with a little help from my trusty coffee maker. But going through the research, I learned a really crucial distinction. Pushing through is definitely not the same thing as being rested. You might actually be lacking the fundamental rest your body absolutely needs just to function at its baseline, and you might not even consciously realize it.
And this really gets to the heart of why it's a silent issue. The signs are surprisingly subtle. We always associate sleep deprivation with, dramatic yawns, practically falling asleep at your desk, or needing 5 cups of coffee just to keep your eyes open during a boring meeting. But the reality? Poor sleep sneaks up on us in much more unexpected, everyday ways. It's stuff like putting the milk in the pantry or staring blankly at your computer screen for a solid minute because you completely forgot what you were doing, or maybe snapping over a super minor text message. We usually just brush those moments off as stress or getting older, right? Well, let's look at exactly how this actually happens.
To make sense of it, we're going to take a quick body tour today. We'll look at the daily energy crisis, then the brain drain effect, and finally, the hidden physical toll. All right, let's kick off our tour with Section 1, the daily energy crisis. The first 2 signs, and these are probably the most common, hit you the second you open your eyes. Sign number 1 is feeling completely tired even after you just woke up. You absolutely know that feeling. Your alarm goes off, you've supposedly slept for a solid chunk of time, but you feel like you literally just closed your eyes. You end up hitting snooze, just praying for a miracle. And then sign number 2 is experiencing this low energy slump that just relentlessly jogs on throughout the entire day. You aren't just tired at that notorious 3 p.m. afternoon lull, you're operating at maybe 60% capacity from dawn until dusk. Everything just feels heavier. So why does this happen? Well, it boils down to this fascinating concept called sleep debt. When you consistently miss out on adequate rest, it has a cumulative effect. You can't just bounce back perfectly after one okay night of sleep on the weekend. Your body is a highly complex biological machine, and sleep is the critical window when it restores its fundamental energy reserves. When you constantly disrupt that, your body literally cannot recharge its batteries. It is exactly like unplugging your phone when it's only at 20% and expecting it to last the entire day while running 5 different apps. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so what do we actually do about this daily energy crisis? Based on the research, here are 2 highly practical tips you can apply right now. First, set a consistent wake-up time. And yes, that means even on weekends, which I know is the hard part for a lot of us, but doing this firmly anchors your body's internal clock. It makes it dramatically easier to naturally fall asleep at night and wake up energized in the morning. Second, if you're really dragging and feeling that debt, take a short, strategic power nap. The key word here is short. Keep it brief, around 15 to 20 minutes max. You don't want to enter deep sleep and wake up feeling groggy and worse off, but just long enough to take the edge off that accumulated debt. Let's move smoothly to our next section to see how this builds. Section 2, the brain drain effect. There is just a night and day contrast between a rested brain and a tired one. A rested brain gives you sharp memory and laser focus, letting you tackle complex problems pretty effortlessly. But a tired brain, that leads directly to difficulty concentrating or remembering really simple things. We're talking about forgetting where you literally just put your keys 2 seconds ago, or drawing a total blank on a coworker's name mid-sentence. It also triggers frequent mood swings and irritability. If you find yourself snapping at your partner over some trivial thing or getting inexplicably frustrated because the grocery line is moving slightly too slow, it might not be a flaw in your personality, it might just be your lack of sleep talking. Which brings us to cognitive fatigue. What I found absolutely amazing here is that your brain is incredibly busy while you sleep. It doesn't just power down like a computer shutting off. Sleep is the active time when your brain files away the memories of the day, forms new neural connections, and perhaps most importantly, stabilizes your emotional control centers. When you constantly cut that crucial process short, your brain physically struggles to process new information. Plus, the area of your brain responsible for regulating emotions becomes highly reactive. So it's not you just being moody. It's a direct physiological response to insufficient rest.
To combat this brain drain, we really need to focus on giving the mind a clear runway to land. Tip number one here is to create a dedicated wind-down routine before bed. Think about it. You wouldn't expect a speeding car to stop instantly without tapping the brakes first, right? This routine signals to your brain that it is time to shift gears from active processing to resting. Tip number two is to practice mindfulness. If you're feeling that intense evening irritability, taking just a few minutes to do some deep breathing or mindful meditation can calm those reactive emotional centers. It cools the engine, gives you that smooth runway to land, and preps you for way higher quality sleep. Now we've reached the final stop on our body tour. Section 3, the hidden physical toll. These are the final 3 hidden signs of sleep deprivation, and they show up very physically. First, increased cravings for unhealthy, sugary, or carb-heavy foods. This is when suddenly that stale break room donut becomes absolutely irresistible, or you find yourself rummaging for chips at midnight. Second is the classic visible sign, dark circles or puffy, tired-looking eyes. And third, getting sick way more often. If you feel like you're catching every single passing cold that goes around the office, your sleep habits might actually be the main culprit. Let's look at the mechanics behind these physical signs, because the biology here is just super interesting. A balanced, well-rested body effortlessly maintains normal hunger hormones and strong natural defenses. But a sleep-deprived body, totally different story. Lack of sleep fundamentally alters your hunger hormones. Specifically, it increases ghrelin, the hormone that signals hunger, and decreases leptin, the hormone that signals fullness. That is exactly why you crave junk food when you're tired. Your brain is desperately looking for quick energy. Furthermore, a lack of sleep causes your blood vessels to dilate, which creates that dark, bruised-looking tint under the very thin skin of your eyes. Literally, your body is physically showing the strain of exhaustion. And regarding getting sick more often, we've got to talk about immune system fatigue. Sleep is the primary maintenance window for your immune system. While you sleep, your body produces and releases cytokines, which basically act like your immune system's night shift security team. They actively target infection and inflammation while you're resting. If you aren't sleeping, you simply aren't building those defenses. You are essentially sending the security team home early, leaving you in a weakened state and highly susceptible to every passing bug or virus. To tackle these physical tolls, here are 3 targeted tips. First, when those late-night cravings hit, swap the sugary snacks for a glass of water. A lot of the time, simple dehydration cleverly masks itself as hunger. Second, to help with the dark circles and puffiness, try elevating your head just slightly with an extra pillow while you sleep. This uses gravity to prevent fluid from pooling around your eyes overnight. And most importantly, to rebuild that immune system, you absolutely must prioritize getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. It's just non-negotiable if you want robust bodily defenses. It really is the core pillar of your health. As we look at the complete picture, the daily energy crisis, the brain drain, and the physical toll, what this brilliantly illustrates is one simple, undeniable truth. Quality sleep is your most powerful health habit. It is the absolute foundation upon which your physical vitality, your immune resilience, and your mental clarity are built. You cannot out-eat, out-exercise, or outwork a fundamental lack of sleep. Taking control of your rest is, without a doubt, taking control of your life. So, we've explored the subtle signs and the science behind why our bodies react the way they do when we shortchange our rest. And I want to leave you with this final crucial point to chew on tonight. If sleep is your body's ultimate superpower, capable of sharpening your mind, regulating your emotions, and completely rebuilding your physical health, why are you still awake? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and here is to a much better night's rest.